talk about their price. They were so anxious to hear what I'm going to say about their price, but you got to set them up this way. By the time it gets to them, it still hurts, but not quite as bad. I had a lady that I sold her house for her parents when they died, so when her uncle was going to move, she told him to call me. I priced his house at $99,900. His competition in the neighborhood was $104,900. This lesson is about padding your price so you have room to negotiate. Doesn't work. $99,900. My competition was $104,900 and $109,900. Sold it in 4 days. Cash. Closed fast. $99,900. And the buyer did not ask for any closing costs. No closing costs. So he netted $99,900 minus seller expenses. $104,900 only put his was only $5,000 higher than mine, and you would think a buyer would not care, but they do. His sold for $90,000. It sold after mine. His was on the market before mine, and his sold after mine. And what do prices have been doing? Down. His sold for $99,000 even. He lost $900 there. He has the sellers paid $3,000 toward closing costs, so he lost $3,000 there. A $99,000 house is going to have about 100. The loan's going to be about what? $900 a month. 700 of it's interest. 700 times 12 is what? 82? Huh? 84. So he made 99 minus 3 minus 84 minus selling expenses. Who made more money? By only coming under $500,000 and not having to negotiate much. $109,900. He got tired. He gave up. He didn't sell his house. I have another example. I had a seller who paid $127,000 for the house. They had it listed for $134,900. That listing expired. This is y'all's people. I put it at $129,900. I told her $119,000 from the get go. I put it at $129,900. 4 months later, I helped her friend stage her house. 4 months later, she came into town and said, "We need to talk." So I printed out another CMA of the most recent. So we went and talked. I sat in front of her face and said, "You see why it's not selling? It had only shown 3-4 times, no offers. Buyer didn't like the neighborhood. Buyer didn't like the backyard. Buyer didn't like this, that. Buyers don't like all kind of things. They're lying about what they're not liking. If you put the price in there, they don't care what it is. They're going to buy it." So we put it at $119,900. A week later, it sold for $123,700. And the seller paid $3,700 toward closing. So we actually sold it for $120,000, which was more than what we listed it at in 1 week. Numerous times I've had sellers. I just had one on another seller. We had it. He paid too much for his house. He paid $184,000. We had it at $189,000, didn't work. $179,000, didn't work. $169,000, didn't work. He came into town and had to meet. We put it at $150,000. That week we're under contract for $149,250. So the more you pad it, the longer it's going to take, and you're more likely not ever going to get an offer. And the way buyers think, I know how sellers think, but the way buyers think, if it's a $100,000 house and the seller's got it priced at $125,000, they're not going to offer $100,000. They got an agent too. They're going to offer $75,000 because they think you stupid. They'll be stupid too, and they're going to be stupid in direct relationship in proportion to where you are. Isn't that funny? But that does work. It does work out. They put in their mind how much they think it should be, and they come in half, back it out half. So does that all make sense on pricing? You got me. Just so you know, I ain't lying to you. In 2006, Calhoun County resale, there were 1,298 buyers. 2007, 1,084. 2008, 826. 2009, 620. So from 2006 to 2009, we lost half of our buyers. 2010, we stayed kind of steady, 607. 2011, 654. And so far this year, we're trending ahead. We'll probably be under 700, but we should be hit close to that number of buyers. Value. Value is very important. And the only way we can judge value is average sales price and median sales price. So I'm going to talk about average sales price. In Calhoun County, the average sales price of a resale house in 2006 was $130,000. 129, 115, 110, 100. So from 2006 to 2010, we lost 30% of our value in this town. That includes you. In 2000, and it's not cut and dry, so don't freak out yet. 2011, 102, so we started coming up, and unfortunately, we've actually gone back down this year to 100. 4 months inventory. Remember the magic 4 months inventory that made prices go up? 8 months. Already 2 times the inventory. It is definitely a buyer's market already. 10 months. 12 months. 13 and a half months. Slightly over 13 months. So this got better. The only thing that didn't get better last year was the median sales price. It actually came down. And then this year so far, actually, I guess people got tired of being on the market. There's 12 months inventory on the market. So as of today, and whichever day you pull this, there's 746 sellers on the market. We're not going to sell 746 houses this year, more than likely. So there's going to be a group of sellers who are going to be very upset with the world, life in general, and their agent. I don't want you to be one of those. So here's what we got to do. Here's the houses I pulled, and I didn't pull any houses. When I do a market analysis, there are no 2 houses exactly alike. What I have to do is I bracket it. I usually go to your school system, and usually within 3 miles of your neighborhood. I go within 10 years plus or minus of your house. And I try to pull one level and compare one level to one level and 2 level to 2 level. And so you just want to kind of get a bracket of this is about what they're selling for, and this is about what they're selling for. It starts with the lowest. It goes from lowest to high, so don't freak out first. This one on blah, blah, blah street was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on the market for 21 days, sold for X. What I find, and look at the 21 days, houses are selling, and houses are selling fast, or they're not selling at all. It's all based on price. They're either selling fast, or they don't sell at all. Here's this one on blah, blah, blah street. Oh yeah, they'll talk to you about them. And look at the pictures. Sometimes if they're a really good house, I'll print out that page of pictures to bring along, say this house was totally updated. And I talk about the house a little bit, and it's sold for, and it's sold for, and it's sold for. And if you get 6, if you get 3, and you pull the correct comps within 3 miles, within 1 year, whatever they average out to, that's going to be what it sells for, very close. Plain and simple. It is not a hard science. 3 that are the closest bracketed by age, by area, by school district, that sold in the past 1 year, that average sales price is about where it's going to go. And then I make a recommendation of this. And I don't have this number. You can print this out. Houses that sold, this is not exact, but this is kind of sort of right. 600 something houses sold last year. 200 of them, or 300 of them, were $0 to $100,000. 100 to 125 was about 150. Let's say 200. 125 to 150 was 100. 150 to 175 was 50. 175. You see what happens? Every time you go up $25,000, you lose half of your buyers. So, here's what the CMA said. Here's what I'm advising. If it were my house, I would price it this. And if you can, say 129, it looks like it's going to sell for about 129 is about what it's going to sell for. But if you can strategically let me price it at the 125 even, what you do, if you price it at 129.9, you're only going to have 100 buyers to go after. If you price it at 100 to 125, you're going to have 200 buyers to go after. If you price it right at 125 even, you got 300 people to try to capture. You should be the very best house in the 100 to 125, best everything, biggest, cleanest, prettiest, and I still want you to be the biggest, the cleanest and prettiest in the 125 to 150, but you probably won't be the biggest. But what I would recommend is 125 if it was a 129.9 house. So let's talk. What are your goals? What do you need? And then talk to them about it and see what they say. And then if y'all are kind of getting around, let them talk. 30-minute conversation about price is a whole lot easier than angry conversations on the phone the rest of your life.
Or trying to get price reductions.
Because a lot of them won't. You have to take 30 minutes more, or however long they take. But I do remember one particular seller, older people, they really thought their house was worth more than it was. And after we closed, she told me that she thought I undersold her house. Meanwhile, it had been on the market for 6 months, but they did. But they wanted to be at 139, and I kept showing them, I want you to be at 139 too, but you see why we can't. You see what this is saying. You see what we're doing. You see how it's working. And I was right and they were wrong. But after we closed, she told me, you lost me. You didn't make enough money for me. I said, okay. I sold her next house when she went to retirement home too. So I guess overall, her kids thought I did a good job. But that 30-minute or however long minute conversation after, let's strategically talk about pricing. And they're going to want to pad it. And that is what they used to could have done 10 years ago. You can't do that anymore. I'm finding buyers will offer, not always, but more times than not, offer the right price if they think it's priced right from the get-go. Not always. But I'd rather you getting a lowball offer than no offers at all.
Do you pull tax records too? These they don't being higher.
I don't use. I look at. We pull tax records. I don't use that number. What's funny? I don't use that number to base anything what I do. If you go and do your CMA, really it should be 5 years plus or minus, but there's just not enough. So 10 years. If it was built in 2000, you go to 1990 to 2010. You key in the search criteria, so it's 3 miles from your property. And then you still want to key in the school district. 3 miles in the same school district, 10 years plus or minus. There's a lot of variation in prices, 10 years plus or minus. But then you look at them, and if you can pull the 3 that look closest, I pull the tax records to see the photograph.
Right, as a starting point.
And then I pop. You get the 3 that look closest. That's what it's going to sell for, or very close. And then what's funny is I look at the tax assessor's office. We've been doing this. It's been my recent game on what they say. Almost every time lately it's been the same, or very close. And Lacey's gotten good at it. I'll say, how much is this house worth? And she'll tell me, and she about hits it every time. So use those. It don't matter what we think. I mean, that's what you got to overcome. It don't matter what I think. This ain't me. It matters what the market's doing. I think your house is worth $1 million. But if I can't sell it for that, it does you and me no good. So we gotta price it based on what reality is.